Hello everyone, I welcome you to the channel Trade Waves. Today in this session, I will be talking about few very crucial observations that are seen on the chart of Nifty, Bank Nifty and Sensex. Also, I will be discussing with you few stocks that are on my radar for coming days. So make sure that you watch the video till the end and do not miss out on any crucial information. Also, do hit on the subscribe button below to get regular updates from this channel. So let's get started. This is the monthly chart of Nifty. And the first very basic and very crucial observation here is that since the lows of March 2020, prices have been moving upwards very, very sharply. Number two, until this last month candle, until this November's candle, prices were moving upwards and it didn't give any single close below the prior candle's low. However, last month, we saw a close below the prior bar's low for the first time after 19 months. This is a very crucial information. Number two, if we go on the weekly chart, we will be able to see this trend in detail. Prices have been moving upwards in higher high and higher low formations. So now let's try to draw a trend line by connecting the lows. Perfect. This is the trend line that have been adhered to since the lows of March. I have been continuously mentioning about this trend line on my YouTube channel as well as on my Telegram channel. And last week, I mean, just 3 weeks before, we saw a breach below this crucial trend line as well. What is this indicating? Was this a signal to go short? Nah, my friends. Do not be in a rush to take trading decisions. This is just one information that we have. We are still discussing, we are still analyzing the chart in bits and parts. On monthly chart, we saw a first close below the prior candle's low. On weekly chart, we saw a trend line breach. Now let's go on the daily chart to see if it is giving us any trading information. So on the daily chart, first thing that we are supposed to do is draw a trend line. One trend line that we already have is this long-term trend line that was breached somewhere here. And post this breach, what is happening is prices have been continuously retesting the trend line. So this trend line after breaching, it has become a resistance. Prices have tested this resistance twice and again reversed on downside. So as long as prices are below this, the trend remains bearish. Coming to the pattern formation, we saw a classic head and shoulder pattern forming here. This is the head and these are two shoulders. And we saw a classic breach of this neckline on 22nd of November. A big red candle closed below the neckline. However, unfortunately, this candle's breach was not very, very significant. Why? Because prices were still above this long-term trend line. In fact, it has closed almost very close to this trend line. And this trend line was a support. So according to technicals, it is not suggested to buy to short near the support. And therefore, the scenario still remains as wait and watch. Post that for another 3 candles, another 3 days, we consolidated in a range, and post that we saw once again a break below this trend line. So head and shoulder pattern completed, trend line has been breached. So now is the time to employ appropriate indicators to confirm our study. I've used a moving average crossover And now you can see that in spite of this candle's low, I'll just so this is the candle that I'm referring to. So prices closed below the trend line. However, we didn't see the moving average crossover until this point of time. So the scenario still remains wait and watch. This is how stock market keeps on testing our patience again and again. And as of now, what is happening? Prices gave a pullback again towards the trend line. Number two, moving average crossover has been seen. This is a bearish implication. HN head and shoulder pattern completed, moving average crossover seen, trend line has been broken, and we are now witnessing a lower low and lower high formation. So this is the new trend line that becomes a very crucial trend line for coming days. As long as prices are trading below this trend line, the strategy should be sell on highs. Use every rise as a shorting opportunity. What's there on downside? On downside, this is a very crucial support. 16,780. Once this 16,780 is broken, we might see further downside in Nifty, and the target of 16,400, 16,600 might be seen in coming days. However, until this happens, we might see prices consolidating within this range. Only if 16,780 is broken, we can witness further downside in Nifty. This was all about Nifty. Now let's move to another important index, that is Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty has been underperforming since many days. On the chart of Nifty, we discussed price action, we discussed about price patterns. Now on Bank Nifty's chart, let's try to identify, let's try to understand the neo wave counts that are working wonderfully on this chart. Since the low that was formed in on around 29th of Jan 2021, prices are moving in a flat corrective pattern. This A was an impulsive pattern, B was again a corrective, and again C wave is an impulse pattern. 5-wave pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this 5th wave is a terminal impulse. A very crucial information and a pattern that is very, very important. Once we see prices closing below this level, 35,350 odd level, we will see Bank Nifty touching the levels of 30,000 in coming days. So this is how Neo Wave is giving us some very important information about the targets, about the important levels that we must keep an eye on. It's time to discuss about few stocks that are on my radar for coming days. First stock that I will be mentioning about is Bajaj Finserv. This stock is forming a rounding top formation, a very classic formation. And once we see a break below this significant support, we might witness a selling pressure in this stock. Second important stock is BHEL, BHEL. Here in this stock, we can see a triangular consolidation that is happening here. And once this trend line has been broken on downside, further downside can be witnessed. Third important stock is Adani Enterprises. Adani Enterprises, this is a stock which gave a breakout above this high, but it was not able to sustain near the high levels. And now, currently, it is kind of forming a triple top formation. It is trading exactly near the support as of now. Once we see this is a close below the support, we might witness further downside. My dear friends, coming 2 weeks are very, very important for our market. So make sure that you take wise trading decisions and do not take your decisions in hustle. It might cost you a lot. Make sure that you follow your trading plan appropriately. Use appropriate stop losses and trade with discipline. That is very, very important. So see you again very soon. Take care and happy trading.